To log into GoGuardian, start with your ClassLink account. You can also go to teacher.goguardian.com, but be aware that GoGuardian.com will not work. Once it opens, you will see all of your current classes. If they are old classes and you need to archive them, there is an archive button in the bottom right-hand corner. This year, you may see quite a few classes ready for you under pending. Those are classes the district made. However, they are split into cohorts, so they may or may not work for you this year. It is your choice whether or not you want to use them. Many of you will choose to create your own classes, and you can do that one of two ways. If you have Google Classroom set up, you can choose the Import Google Classroom button. It's a very easy way to set up your GoGuardian classes. Or you can select Add Classroom and do it manually. You will need to give your classroom a name, select your subject, and then press Add Classroom. From there, you will see 3 ways to add students. You can give your students a code where they will self-enroll in the classroom. The code looks like this. You just tell your students to go to enroll.goguardian.com and put in the enroll code. This is how students join your classroom themselves. Another option is to input a student's email address. This is a great option if one of your students is having difficulty self-enrolling in the class, or if they come in mid-semester and it's just easier to grab their email off of Q and add them to your classroom very quickly. The last option is CSV import, and that works really well for teachers who are familiar with Q reports, know how to find them, download them, and then upload them into GoGuardian. Having said all that, if you have a Google Classroom for your class, the easiest option is just to import from your Google Classroom. Once your classes are set up, you will always see them on the Classrooms tab under Active. If it is a class that is set up through Google Classroom, you can sync your roster at any time by going to Students and selecting the blue Sync Students from Google Classroom. Or if you haven't synced through Google Classroom, you can always add them by enroll code or student email. This classroom page gives you a lot of information about your class. The Recordings tab allows you and your students to see recordings for 90 days. The Teachers tab allows you to see which teachers are part of your classroom and which adults you've given access as a co-teacher or a helper. And the Settings tab is where you can change the name of your classroom, schedule your classes to start automatically, or set up your email notifications. Those tabs are all helpful, but the Sessions tab is what you are going to access most frequently. This is where you can see a list of all your previous sessions, and you can start a new session so that you can monitor your students. On the right-hand side, you can select how long your session should be. And if you want to apply a scene, which we'll talk about in a later video, you can apply a scene at this point in time. And then when you're ready to go, you just need to select Start Session.